Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of the Creative Breakthrough Challenge. And I'm going to be looking at the photographs or the things that you did for day 2. My accompanying mug today is Harry Potter, and it's a magic one, except it's not working. When you fill it with hot water, you have a magical Harry Potter thing. And I like black mugs as well. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to show you my screen if I can. Okay, so this is the place where it takes place. If you're watching and you haven't signed up yet, you can. You can go to this place and see this page. Let me show you the address. The address of this is infinitecreativitynow.com/5days. And when you click on the green button there or the pink button, enter the coupon code 5days and it becomes completely free for you. All right, let's flick back and get rid of that banner. By the way, if you would like to contribute a comment, please do say hello if you're watching. I can see somebody's watching. Say hello. I'd love to know who you are and what you think and stuff. Or, you know, just say hello. There's no need to get too involved if you don't want to. So remember, in the group, along the top here, where it says featured, you've got all the different days challenges. So here's day 2. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to look at everything you've contributed. Day 2 is called Explore It. Day 1 was Enable It. So it's a process. And over the 5 days, you will get 5 different names beginning with E. Isn't that fun? So this is Explore It, explore your creativity. And let me get up to the top there. The idea was that you do an everyday, often boring event in an unusual way. Beatrice was the first person to contribute. Thanks, Bea. And she did a video. Now, that's quite brave. Not everybody is comfortable doing videos. So well done if you did. And feel free to. I know Laurel has as well. And what Bea did, she took her normal working environment, her desk, she's working from home at the moment, and she made it beautiful. She put candles, she had incense, not burning, in one of those diffuser things with the steam coming out and lovely lights changing. So making her workplace a really nice place to be. So thanks for contributing that. I don't know where, I can make, no, I won't play it actually. I can make this bigger. I don't know why I contributed that, probably saying, look, if I can do this, anyone can. And then Dorothy said, I couldn't concentrate at home as there's no silent place for me. The electrician and the painter are working. So she went outside and her office, she said the office for the day is going to be the beach, which is pretty cool. Let me make this a bit bigger. So there it is. The beach is her workplace. And how cool is that? There she is. You know, it's more interesting than just sitting in somebody's office or something, isn't it? Making the beach your workplace. And a very nice little creation of a heart in the pebbles. It's really easy, actually, to be creative if you want to be. And there's some more examples of that later on. Teresa said, off to go golf today. Back later, share my takeaways and art for day 2. Explore it. And I'm impressed with Teresa because she's taking it to heart. She's got a new page in her diary or her journal. She writes down the assignments and then she does a picture. She's into watercolors at the moment. So well done, Teresa. You're inspiring me because so many people are trying to get into watercolors this year. It's pretty cool. And this was Thomas. I'm just trying to remember why Thomas, he says, maybe I'm cheating a bit today. Hang on, I've skipped over Teresa. I thought Teresa published something. Explore it. I think maybe she contributes something in a minute. Thomas says, here's the attempt to put something on a white paper with a white pen. I've got a feeling, did he do the day 1 thing on day 2? I'm not sure. But if you look at this, at first it seems like there's nothing there. But if you look really closely, you can see a heart. Now he's got a white pencil or crayon on white paper. There's also some sort of texture there. So I don't know if, Thomas, if you did this white heart on a white paper or not, but it's pretty minimalist. It's pretty cool, actually. And actually, so this is Thomas getting into the flow. And look what he's done. He's really going wild with these hearts here. And Thomas has got a Facebook group called Vivid Shadows and Silhouettes. And another of my photo masterclass friends, Chris, has got a group called Hidden Hearts. So I'm sure that Thomas is planning on contributing these to the Hidden Hearts group from Chris as well. And they look great. At first I thought he'd cut out and coloured hearts with sort of coffee stones and so you see on the left there. I thought it was stained with coffee, but in fact I realized that's actually a hole in the piece of paper, and that's just the table underneath, unless he stained the thing underneath with coffee. I'm not sure. Intriguing. And then he's playing with photos as well, playing with the photo effects. So that isn't exactly the day 2 thing. The day 2 thing is, am I on day 2? Let me just check. Am I going crazy here? Yeah, it's day 2. Explore it. Now this is Geneviève, who is Beatrice's sister, and she said exploring cooking after a long day teaching at school. She teaches English, which is fantastic. Pancakes was on the menu, and fun and creativity came out of the blue when I found a piece of pancakes with 2 holes which looked like eyes to me, and in no time I had a face on my pancakes. Geneviève is a new friend. I'm just getting to know her, and it seems like she's pretty creative. This is something that some of my old friends will appreciate, like Dorothy and Thomas and Chris, seeing crazy things in everyday things. So there's a little nose, there's a smile, and there's 2 eyes. It looks like a ghostly figure, doesn't it? And Geneviève is really getting into it. This was me. I felt a bit left out, so I thought I would contribute something. Oh, by the way, if you're watching the replay, hello, and if you're watching live, hello. Leave a comment so that I can know what you're thinking. Which of these do you think are particularly interesting, and why? And how did you do with today's assignment, the day 2 assignment? So this was me, and this is kind of scary for me because obviously I am not an accomplished artist. I've never really drawn anybody at all. So I thought, that's no excuse. I tell other people to put their stuff in even when they think it's awful. So I should do the same. So I did the same. Here it is. This is this woman. So I did give you a little challenge to try and guess which was the original photograph and which was my copy of it. So you can participate in that little competition if you like, and if you get it right, you'll get a big prize, or at least a smile from me. And yeah, it's interesting. This is going to be my year of trying to draw a little bit more seriously than in the past. I contributed another couple as well. This was me messing around at home. This isn't really on topic. This isn't me doing something mundane in a creative way, but I am sharing this anyway. And I'm going to skip over the next one because anyway. So here's Karen. Karen is saying, the biggest challenge is just finding this darn page some days, lol. So Karen somehow has difficulty finding the Facebook page. Hopefully you've got it sorted out now. I've had a busy day as my new bed arrives tomorrow at long last, and now they are not going to take away the old mattress due to COVID-19. I've had to do some rearranging. Isn't it funny, a little simple exercise like this and we start to hear about funny little details of people's lives. I think that's pretty cool. As I was saying to a student the other day who started telling me about quite a personal problem that he was having in an English lesson. And at the end of it, he said, I'm really sorry, to throw all this stuff on you. And as I said to him, we're people first, and then we're English students, artists, pupils. So I like the fact that we get little snippets into little, glimpses into people's lives. So she continues. I've had to do some rearranging, which also led to a bit of extra cleaning. I did my grocery online, Also because the virus is so bad here at the moment. Karen's in Canada. That's only the second time I've ever done that. So I was tempted to say that's what I did differently. But hey, Sabs want pictures. So I sat, take note, people. Karen is very inspiring. She didn't really draw a year or two ago, and now she draws every day and she's getting really good. She did an amazing picture of me for some reason with a ghostly lighting. And it was amazing. Sab wants pictures. So I sat on the bed that will be gone tomorrow and sketched a self-portrait that included more than just my head for a change. Isn't it funny? In this picture is now the bed that she was sitting on, which may have disappeared. So I do like to think of everything we create, every picture we take, every line we write as the culmination of our lives, our entire life's experience up until that moment. So this picture includes the bed that she was sitting on that she no longer has. We can't see it, but it's in there. That's why it's so wonderful to create on a regular basis, because they represent so much. When we look at somebody else's creation, we can try to imagine or guess what that represents for them, why they did it, where they were in their lives at that point. And when we create something, we know where we were, and it's a reminder. And very often, moments of our lives, the days of our lives, they disappear. We don't have any reminder. So if this year is my year of encouraging you to create regularly, and by that, I've decided on two definitions of that. One is daily, and the other is weekly, because those are the two most easy to manage meanings of regular. You know, what does regular mean? Every few days, twice a week, maybe. It's not clear enough. If you want to have a way of knowing whether you've done what you said you would or you haven't, go with daily. It's pretty obvious it's pretty easy to know if you've either created a day or you haven't, isn't it? And if you decide to, well, before you close your eyes at night, you jolly well create something if you're committed to it. And the other is, it's not always easy to create every day. So the next time scale that is really easy to measure, to know if you've done it or not, is weekly. You know, at the end of your week, whatever that is, let's say Sunday night, you know if you've done that week's creation or not. So those are the two time scales I recommend. Why don't I recommend any others? Because longer than that, and you're not really creating. You know, you need to be creating at least once a week. You call yourself a writer. I want to know, as your creativity coach, what you've written in the last week. I'm not interested in, well, you know, I did something 2 years ago. I'm not interested in that. I could be, but first of all, I want to know what you've created this week. That's the people that I want to work with. And that's what will give you an amazing growing collection of creative stuff. So all of that came from Karen's picture sitting on the bed. Okay, I'm not getting comments coming through, but Teresa, I see, likes my video. Thank you very much, Teresa. Dorothy is adding a new photo when she should be watching my video, but I'll forgive her, maybe. As long as she's adding it sitting on a beach, I don't mind. If you're watching this, can you try and comment, please? Even if it's the replay, because I'm not getting comments, and I know some people were probably commenting, so please let me know. Now, here's Teresa. At last, I knew she'd created something amazing, and here it is. It's a sort of be careful, Sab. A huge, mega, super duper splurge of probably all the colors in her paint box. Isn't that amazing? It's just let's see what she says about it. I think that's probably the best thing to say. There was no box other than the paper. I think what she means is I talk about there's a very common expression, and that's think outside the box. And one of my favorite takes on that, my modifications of that, is why even believe there's a box at all? Just, you know, do crazy things that have never been done before. And I think that's what Teresa is alluding to here. I've got a comment and I'm going to show it to you, sending you a test comment. So thank you, Teresa. Thank you very much. And Teresa, now you've started, don't stop. Could you actually send me a comment to tell me something about how you felt when you were creating this amazing color splurge? Thank you. So she says, there was no box other than the paper. I put watercolor paints from tubes directly, no water added, that's interesting, on the page, and went to town with a palette knife. So you scrape away. This is great. I haven't heard of people using a palette knife with watercolor paints squeezed onto paper. So you're already in foreign territory as far as I'm concerned. Reminds me mostly of my kindergarten finger paintings, and you give a lot of sort of laughs. But I have very strong feelings about what we did as kids in relation to how we could rediscover our lost creativity. Because when we're kids, we don't have rules. We stick our fingers in our paints to paint, and we stick them in our food to paint on our faces instead of putting it in our mouths. And it's great fun. And they don't know that what's right and what's wrong until somebody tells them. Unfortunately, people do tell them what's right and what's wrong in terms of painting. They say, no, you don't do it like that. You do it like this. And that's the beginning of the end for many of us, including me, until we get to 50 years old or something, and we see some crazy guy saying, do what you want, throw the colors at the paper and rub them around with your hands, and it's good. I've got a guy, I'm following an little online painting course at the moment. That's exactly what the guy's saying to me. He's doing the scrappiest drawings, and I'm thinking, well, if he can do them like scribbles with a couple of lines, so can I. So that's what I want to say to you. That's why I love this so much, because you dared to do it. I mean, it's not like you tried to do a house and you don't think it looks much like a house. You literally got your paints and scraped them around the piece of paper. And this now exists. This is just as valid as some fancy picture of a landscape. In fact, this is much more raw. It's much more real than, because as soon as you try and do something realistic, you realize that it doesn't look exactly like the original. And all of those doubts come slamming in. Oh, I'm no good. I'm not going to show this to anyone. They're going to laugh. My uncle's better than me. I'm a disgrace. And that's the worst thing that you can imagine. All right, so fun to have no rules or expectations other than to create something. Yes. So thanks, Teresa, for your enthusiasm. And she said something about turning it around. She said, this might sound trivial, but I think it's interesting. She says, I like turning paintings around to see from a different perspective. This last view reminds me of dancers doing perhaps flamenco, or maybe barmaids flaunting over a guy. And she's right. If that's what it reminds her of, that's what it reminds her of, and no one can tell her any different. I looked to see what was written on it, and it says palette knife and watercolors, January 11th, 2022. I thought at first it was your signature, and I recommend that everybody signs things. I think that's quite cool because it gives you a sense of not necessarily ownership, but that you're not ashamed to put your name on it. You need never be ashamed of anything, but of course, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool to start signing stuff. It means you don't care, and you love what you're doing. You don't care. And now this is really nice. This is Diane. She said, I brought my bestie to work today. Not only did I need help in the office, but we had some good laughs. The best is coming. And went out for lunch, and the day flew by. We even dressed alike, and not on purpose. This is really an interesting point, which I'm going to elaborate on. She had fun in the office. It wasn't a normal day. That's great. But isn't it interesting that she spotted that they both have very, very similar splodgy tops, which is quite similar to Teresa's picture, actually. And there's something about noticing it. Not everyone would notice that. And if you start noticing strange things in everyday things, that means your photographer's eye or your artist's eye or your writer's eye, your writer's voice is starting to see things that others don't. And we look at pictures and photographs and read things because we're a bit lazy and we want to see other things that people have seen. But if you start seeing things yourself, then you're on the artist's route, whatever your art is. So I love those splodgy, the splodgy. The fact that that amused you is wonderful. Lovely to see you, Diane. Haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're doing okay. And this is Ronnie with strawberries. Love the summer fruit. She says she's in Australia. She says I can't see my comments anymore. She said the weather's hot, I think, whereas here it's freezing cold. Beautiful collage of strawberries. It's 4 different types of strawberries, which is interesting. You might, I mean, you know, I do my photography masterclass and stuff. There's a million ways of looking at this, and I'm interested because it's 4 of the same thing. Occasionally you would have 3 of the same and then one like a green fruit as the contrast. She's put 4 frames of the same thing, but they're all a slightly different way of looking at strawberries, which is interesting. I'm saying it's really chilly here, chilly as hell, and then I realized that doesn't really work. She said it's 30 degrees and she's working storms at the weekend. Ronnie is a hair specialist, and I think I talked about this yesterday. A little bit like a sculptor, Ronnie's art as a creative hairdresser is to remove what isn't needed. Like a sculptor will remove stone to reveal the David or the beautiful sculpture or dolphin inside, hiding inside the block of stone or marble, if we can get a little bit poetic about it. That's what she does with hair, it occurred to me. The hairstyle she's after is there under the hair that's in the way. So I thought that's pretty cool. Here's another picture of strawberries. Makes me want to eat strawberries. Laurel is here saying, today I decided to forego the sunlight and checked out my homework and task in fun light. It really lightened my mood. I think if I look, I can still see the comment. Yeah, it lightened my mood and took away stress I had for being so far behind in the day. Far behind in terms of what? In terms of work you have to do, or in terms of the assignments? You can't really be behind on this. I've decided to take it really easy. It'll probably run for 2 or 3 weeks because I've decided to start the follow-up to this for people who want to go much further. My 9-week masterclass, I've decided to start it on the 14th of February, which is a beautifully, a lovely day to start it on, isn't it? So I'm going to just let this run for 2 or 3 weeks and then encourage you to do my masterclass. Who wants to do my Infinite Creativity Now masterclass? It's an incredible experience, and this time it'll be even better than last year. Because we're always learning and wanting to improve it, and you will finish with an amazing finished creative work at the end of it. So that's something to bear in mind. So she's done some lovely color work here. Here's another one. Laurel is one of those brave people who even sings on camera and things like that. So who knows what we're going to see from her in the next couple of days. All right, we're getting to the end now. I'm doing quite well at keeping this to half an hour. I'm kind of pleased. Yep, we are more or less at the end there. Okay, so let me come back to you. The next day, I'm kind of doing these a bit later than, I mean, the day 3 and the day after that has also been published. But if you're watching this, I encourage you to keep going. And if you haven't done all of the assignments yet, go for it. Do the next one. That's what we're here for, to be as creative as we possibly can, to be as creative as we'd love to be. That's my mission in life for this month, this day, this year, and forever, is to help people and to encourage people to be as creative as they would love to be. Because I've come to my little personal conclusion that when you're creating, you're really living to the full, because you're bringing something new into being, which didn't exist before. When you do that, you're able to share it with others. And I feel that it's a much deeper joy when you give than when you receive. So when you've created something and you share it, that's wonderful. And there's something about sharing something you've created as opposed to something you've bought that is, I would say, infinitely more profound. And you know I like the word infinite. And so that's another reason I love creating things. It doesn't matter what you create, just create something rather than nothing. And you're really living. And when you share, a really beautiful thing happens. You get feedback. The vast majority of the time, it's positive. You know, most people are nice, they genuinely like it, or they don't. You know, people fear that bad things will happen when they expose themselves by sharing their own creativity. In the vast majority of cases, they absolutely don't. So you get the feedback and you learn from that feedback, and that inspires you to create more, because it's overwhelmingly positive feedback. People love it when their friends create something because it's isn't it touching when someone shares something with you that you know is important to them. So it's a joy for them as well. But not only that, when people receive something from you that you've shared, that inspires them to create normally. Apart from improving your relationship with them because they feel closer to you, that inspires them to create. So they create, then they share, you receive their sharing, and you can give them the pleasure of your feedback, and you will again be inspired to create something which has incorporated their contribution as well. So that's why this is my little life philosophy: create, share, learn. It's the creative cycle, I call it. We talk more about that in the masterclass, the creativity masterclass, along with a whole load more stuff. And I do have a couple of other words which are my favorites. Uh, I wanted to incorporate them into my little create, share, learn cycle, but it was getting too messy. But I do love the words love and laugh as well. And also authenticity. I didn't used to like that word. I thought it was a real cliche, but now I'm really into authenticity, which is really about being yourself. People don't want to see anything fake. They want to see you being you. And they know if you've done a course or someone told you to do something, they don't want that. They want to see simple you doing simple things. And that means more to them than anything else. So authenticity is one of my words for the year. And the final word I'll share with you this year is focus. I'm trying hard to focus on less than 100 things, less than 10 things, in fact. So I'm focusing on three major things this year, which is pretty good for me. So say hello if you're watching again. I'm about to say goodbye. Possibly Ronnie has just started watching, but I am going to say goodbye. Ronnie, I did talk about you a little bit and your strawberries. So check out the replay if you want. And thanks for watching. Leave any comments. And above all, keep going. Keep going with the creative assignments. They're very easy. They're fun. When you create, when you take action, you never know what's going to happen. It's normally extremely positive, and you always learn from it. And if you don't do anything, well, you haven't failed, but you haven't done anything. And not much happens in that case. So I encourage you to be as creative as you would love to be. And I will see you in the next assignment. Bye for now.